Hey guys, welcome back to Echoes of Midnight. Tonight's story, The Brave Mechanic Who Freed a Forgotten Beast. A tale of mercy, courage, and the bond that changed the stars forever. Let's begin. Captain Jack Thompson stood at the helm of the Odyssey, his hands gripping the controls as the massive colony ship shuddered through the final descent. The planet below, Vega Prime, looked like a jagged jewel from space, swirling storms of red dust and sharp mountain peaks that promised nothing but trouble. Jack had seen his share of rough landings in his years with the Earth exploration fleet, but this one felt different. The air in the bridge was thick with excitement and a hint of fear, the kind that keeps you sharp. "Steady now," Jack called out to his crew, his voice calm like he'd practiced in front of a mirror 100 times. He was in his 40s, with lines etched around his eyes from too many long shifts staring at star charts. The team trusted him because he didn't sugarcoat things. "We've got eyes on the surface. Looks hostile, but that's why we're here, to make it home." Beside him, Lisa Grant, the ship's lead engineer, hunched over her console, her fingers flying across the screens. Lisa was the type who could fix a hyperdrive with a wrench and some duct tape, always tinkering in her off hours. She wiped a bead of sweat from her forehead, her short brown hair sticking up in places from the helmet she'd just pulled off. "Captain, sensors are picking up something big. Not just the atmosphere, there's a signal blocking our scans." The Odyssey touched down with a groan, kicking up clouds of dust that blanketed the viewports. The team suited up quickly, their boots clanging on the metal ramps as they stepped out into the alien world. Vega Prime's gravity pulled a bit heavier than Earth's, making every step feel like wading through water. The sky was a bruised purple, and the wind howled like it was alive, carrying whispers of distant thunder. Jack led the way, his pulse rifle slung over his shoulder, not for show but because out here you never knew. The exploration team fanned out, geologists scanning rocks, biologists sniffing the air for signs of life. But before they could even set up the first beacon, a low hum filled the air. It grew louder, vibrating through their suits, until massive shapes materialized in the sky. It was the Alien Federation's blockade. Ships the size of skyscrapers descended, sleek and glowing with energy fields that shimmered like oil on water. Towering figures beamed down, aliens twice the height of a human, their skin like polished metal, eyes glowing with cold intelligence. They moved with a grace that screamed superiority, their advanced tech humming softly around them. One of them stepped forward, its voice booming through a translator device, echoing across the barren landscape. "Primitive intruders. This world is under Federation protection. Your kind lacks the evolution to claim it. Depart or face erasure." Jack's team froze. Whispers rippled through the comms. "Captain, those shields, they're impenetrable," someone muttered. The aliens loomed, dismissing the humans like ants at a picnic. Their tech was light years ahead. Weapons that could vaporize rock, scanners that pierced through solid matter. To them, humanity was just another backward species, not worth the effort. But Jack didn't back down. He raised his hand slowly, showing no threat. "We're not here to fight. We're explorers from Earth. This planet could be a new start for us." The alien leader tilted its head, a gesture that might have been amusement. "Earth? The backwater rock with its squabbling tribes? Your vessels are relics. Turn back." Lisa, standing a few paces behind Jack, narrowed her eyes at the alien ships. She pulled out an old Earth radar device from her toolkit, one of those clunky models from the early space age before everything went digital and fancy. It wasn't much, just a handheld scanner she'd modified on a whim during the long voyage. "Hold on, Captain," she whispered into her comm, "I'm getting a reading." She adjusted the dials, the device beeping softly as it cut through the interference. While the aliens relied on their high-tech energy matrices, Lisa's gadget used basic radio waves, the kind that bounced off everything without fancy protocols. And there it was, a flicker on her screen. A tiny fluctuation in the aliens' shields, like a crack in a window. "Jack, look at this," she said, pulling him aside. The team gathered around as she pointed to the display. "Their shields are perfect against plasma and lasers, but this old radar? It's picking up a harmonic weakness. If we hit it with a low-frequency pulse, we might disrupt the whole field." Jack's eyes lit up. It was a long shot, but that's what humans did best, improvise when the odds were stacked. The aliens had written them off as primitive, but that underestimation was their edge. "All right, Lisa. Let's test it." Quietly. As the team worked under the shadow of the blockade, tension built. The wind picked up, whipping dust into their visors, but they pushed on. Lisa calibrated the device, her hands steady despite the adrenaline. The aliens watched from afar, confident in their superiority, unaware that these primitives were already unraveling their defenses. Jack glanced at his crew, seeing the determination in their faces. This wasn't just about claiming a planet, it was about proving that humanity's grit could stand against the stars. The discovery of that weakness sparked hope, a reminder that sometimes the simplest tools could topple giants. The sun dipped lower on Vega Prime, casting long shadows over the landing site. Lisa's scanner hummed louder as she locked onto the frequency. "Ready when you are, Captain." Jack nodded, his voice firm. "Do it." A subtle pulse emanated from the device, invisible but potent. Up in the sky, one of the alien ships flickered, its shield wavering for just a second. The aliens stirred, confusion rippling through their ranks. They hadn't expected resistance, let alone from something so outdated. The team held their breath. This was the turning point, the moment discovery turned into defiance. Vega Prime's hostile winds seemed to quiet, as if the planet itself was watching. Jack smiled under his helmet. Humans might not have the fanciest tech, but they had heart, and that was enough to change everything. As the pulse echoed, the blockade's formation shifted uneasily. Lisa high-fived the nearest crew member, her grin wide. "Told you. Old school wins." The exploration had just begun, but already they'd uncovered more than rocks and dust. They'd found a way to fight back. The aliens' dismissal stung, but it fueled the fire. Jack rallied his team, pointing to the horizon. "Let's push forward. This planet's ours if we earn it." Hours stretched into the alien twilight, the team setting up camp while keeping an eye on the skies. Stories swapped around the portable heaters, tales of Earth, of family left behind, of why they volunteered for this madness. It kept them grounded, human in a vast, uncaring universe. Lisa tinkered with her radar, dreaming up ways to amplify it. Jack patrolled the perimeter, his mind racing with plans. The discovery wasn't just technical, it was a spark of possibility, proving that curiosity and cleverness could bridge any gap. By nightfall, as Vega Prime's moons rose, the team felt alive with purpose. The blockade loomed, but so did their resolve. This was humanity at its core, adapting, enduring, discovering. And whatever came next, they'd face it together. The sky over Vega Prime turned ugly fast. One second the alien ships hung like silent judges, the next they spat blue-white lances of energy that carved trenches across the dusty plain. Jack Thompson hit the dirt as the first bolt exploded a supply crate 10 feet away. Heat rolled over him, sharp and dry, smelling of melted plastic and scorched rock. Shouts crackled in his headset. "They're not talking anymore." Tom Harris was already sprinting for the hangar, a half-built shelter of metal ribs and canvas. His fighter looked like a junkyard special, patched hull, mismatched thrusters, and a cockpit barely big enough for his lanky frame. But it was fast, and Tom knew every rattle in its bones. He vaulted the wing, slammed the canopy, and punched the ignition. The engines coughed, then roared. "Ground team, this is Cowboy. I'm drawing them off. Keep your heads down." Up he went, climbing hard through the purple haze. The alien gunners tracked him instantly. Beams stitched the air where he'd been a heartbeat earlier. Tom rolled left, cut thrust, then kicked it again. Old pilot tricks from flight school on Earth, the kind that worked because no textbook ever taught them. His stomach pressed against his spine. "Come on, you big tin cans. Chase the little guy." On the ground, the world shook. Another blast punched a crater near the medical tent. Anna Reed crouched inside, knees in the dust, hands steady even while her heart hammered. A young geologist stumbled through the flap, left arm hanging wrong, blood soaking his sleeve. "Sit," Anna ordered, voice calm like she was asking for coffee. She ripped open a medkit, slapped a pressure bandage in place, and jammed a pain blocker needle into his thigh. "You're not dying today, kid. Breathe." Outside, the fight got louder. Energy bolts cracked like thunder. Anna peeked through the tent flap and saw two more crew dragging a limp body between them. She waved them in. "Over here. Clear the table." The wounded man's chest rose and fell too fast, shallow, panicked. Anna pressed fingers to his neck, counted, then grabbed the portable scanner. Cracked ribs, punctured lung. "Hold him steady." She slid a chest seal over the wound, taped it tight, and hooked up the auto-inflator. Air hissed in, color crept back into the man's face. She allowed herself one quick breath of relief. Above, Tom danced with death. His fighter screamed through a narrow canyon, alien beams chewing the cliff walls behind him. Rock shards pinged off the canopy. "Lisa, you copying?" he yelled into the comm. "Need that pulse trick, now?" Static answered, then Lisa's voice, tight but steady. "Working on it, Cowboy. Keep them busy 30 more seconds." Tom laughed, short and wild. 30? I'll give you 15. He yanked the stick, flipped the craft belly up, and dove straight at the lead alien cruiser. Its shields flared, trying to lock on. Tom fired a burst of old-fashioned kinetic rounds, plain metal slugs, nothing fancy. They sparked harmlessly against the energy field, but the distraction worked. Every gun swiveled toward him. Back on the ground, Jack rallied the defense line. Concentrate fire on the shield emitters. Lisa marked them. Rifles popped, small arms against starship armor, but the humans aimed true. One emitter flickered, then died in a shower of sparks. The nearest alien ship listed, suddenly vulnerable. Jack whooped despite himself. That's it. Pour it on. Anna felt the shift. The incoming fire slackened. The sky wasn't one solid sheet of light anymore. She stepped outside the tent, squinting up. Tom's fighter streaked past, trailing smoke but still flying. She raised a fist. Get him, cowboy. A returning crewman grinned through the dust on his face and echoed the cheer. Inside the med tent, the wounded geologist grabbed Anna's sleeve. My sister's on the Odyssey. Tell her I'm okay. Anna squeezed his good hand. You'll tell her yourself. Just rest. She turned to the next stretcher rolling in, burns this time, bad ones. She swallowed hard, reached for the gel packs and kept moving. Tom's voice crackled again, breathless. Lisa, talk to me. A pause, then triumph. Pulse ready. Firing on your mark. Tom rolled hard, lining up the alien flagship in his sights. Mark. A low thrum pulsed from the ground station Lisa had rigged. The alien shield stuttered, wavered, then collapsed in a ripple of failing light. For 1 perfect second the battlefield went quiet, every human staring up in disbelief. Anna saw it first from the tent flap. She let out a whoop that turned heads. Shields down. Hit them. Rifles barked in earnest now, real damage blooming across alien hulls. Tom dove again, guns blazing, carving a smoking furrow along the flagship's flank. Cheers rose from the human line, ragged and fierce. Jack keyed the all-hands channel. Push forward. They bleed now. Boots pounded dust as the ground team advanced, step by stubborn step. Anna stayed with her patience, but she caught Jack's eye across the chaos and flashed him a tired grin. He nodded back, pride shining through the grime on his face. Up high, Tom banked for another pass, sweat stinging his eyes, fuel gauge blinking red. One more run, then I'm buying beers for everyone, he muttered. The aliens, rattled for the first time, began to pull back. Their perfect formation broke into frantic retreat. Anna sealed another wound, wiped blood on her pants, and looked out at the sky. The purple dusk was streaked with human tracer rounds and alien debris. She whispered to the unconscious man on her table, "We're still here. That's what matters." Outside, the fight wasn't over, but the tide had turned. Humans, messy, loud, unbreakable, had drawn first blood. The cave smelled of wet stone and hot metal. Dust still drifted in the air from the last alien strafing run, settling on every surface like red snow. Jack Thompson crouched near the entrance, peering through a crack no wider than his fist. Outside, the purple dusk pulsed with search beams. The Federation ships prowled like wolves, slow and sure, certain their prey had nowhere left to run. Inside, the team huddled around a single glow lamp. 12 people, 3 rifles, 1 medkit, and a pile of busted gear that looked more like trash than treasure. Tom Harris leaned against the wall, ribs taped tight, sweat cutting clean lines through the grime on his face. Fuel's gone, shields are scrap. We're sitting ducks. Anna Reed knelt beside a wounded tech, winding fresh gauze. Ducks with teeth, she muttered. Keep whining and I'll stitch your mouth shut. A weak laugh rippled through the group, nervous but real. Ben Cooper didn't laugh. He sat cross-legged in the middle of the mess, surrounded by broken panels, cracked circuit boards, and a tangle of wires that looked like spaghetti someone had set on fire. Ben was the quiet type, thin shoulders, glasses held together with tape, always chewing on a pen cap even when there was no pen. He'd spent the trip from Earth sketching ideas on napkins. Now those napkins were gone, but the ideas weren't. Give me the busted comm relay, he said, not looking up. Lisa Grant kicked it over. The relay sparked when it landed. Ben caught it mid-roll, flipped it, and pried off the back with a rock. Aliens use a tight band carrier wave. Super clean, super fast. But clean means predictable. Jack crawled over, keeping low. Meaning? Meaning if we feed their own signal back at them, slightly out of phase, it'll scramble their whole network. Like singing the same note into a microphone, feedback city. Ben's fingers moved quick, stripping insulation with his teeth. Need a power source, an antenna, and something to modulate the loop. Tom snorted. We've got a dead battery, a coat hanger, and my winning personality. Close enough. Ben grinned for the first time all day. They worked in whispers. Anna passed tools without being asked. Forceps, a cracked multi-tool, even the foil from a ration bar. Lisa stripped shielding from a blown thruster coil and braided it into a crude antenna. Jack kept watch, counting the seconds between search beams. Every sweep lit the cave mouth like daylight, then left them blind again. Ben's pile grew. A gutted drone motor for power, the relay's core as the brain, the foil-wrapped coil as the voice. He soldered with a plasma cutter set to low, the blue spark hissing against stone. Sweat dripped off his nose. Almost. An alien patrol stomped past the entrance, metal boots ringing. Everyone froze. The glow lamp flickered. Jack's hand tightened on his rifle. 30 seconds crawled by. The footsteps faded. Ben exhaled. Okay. Loop's ready. Just need to piggyback their command frequency. He tapped the relay's cracked screen. Numbers scrolled, alien code, elegant and cold. Lisa, remember that harmonic glitch from the shield pulse? Like yesterday, she said. Good. Same trick, bigger scale. Ben twisted 2 wires together. The motor whirred to life, weak but steady. A low hum filled the cave, rising in pitch until it buzzed in their teeth. Ben aimed the coil toward the entrance. On 3. 1, 2. He flipped the switch. Nothing dramatic, no explosion, no flash. Just a soft pop like a cork coming out of a bottle. Then silence. Jack risked a look. Outside, the search beams stuttered, froze, then swung in wild circles. Up in the sky, the Federation ships drifted off course, bumping shields like cars in fog. Inside the cave, the team stared at the little device humming on the floor. Ben wiped his glasses on his shirt. Feedback loops live. They can't talk to each other. Won't last forever, maybe 20 minutes before they reboot, but it's 20 minutes we didn't have. Jack clapped him on the shoulder. 20 minutes to Earth. Lisa was already at the emergency beacon, fingers flying. Boosting the signal through the same loop. If Ben's toy keeps their comms down, our SOS rides the same wave straight to their receivers. They'll think it's their own distress call. Anna laughed, short and sharp. Poetic. Using their voice to scream for help. The beacon chirped, locked, transmitting. Jack keyed the all-hands. Odyssey, this is Thompson. We're holed up, shields down, but we just blinded the wolves. Need extraction yesterday. Static, then a voice crackled back. Captain Ramsey on the colony ship, orbiting dark to stay hidden. Copy, Jack. Launching shuttles now. ETA 18 minutes. Hold the line. 18. They had 20. Close enough. Tom pushed off the wall, wincing. Guess we throw rocks till the cavalry rides in. Ben killed the loop early, didn't want to tip their hand. The alien ships steadied, comms flickering back online, but confusion lingered. Orders contradicted. Formations broke. The humans used the chaos. Lisa rigged motion sensors from broken helmets. Anna turned empty ration cans into trip alarms. Jack organized fire teams, 3 rifles, 2 flare guns, and a whole lot of stubborn. Minutes bled away. Search beams swept closer. A Federation squad dropped at the cave mouth, plasma rifles glowing. Jack's team opened up. Flares burst overhead, turning night into orange noon. The aliens hesitated. Disrupted comms meant no coordinated push. Human bullets pinged off armor, but the noise kept them pinned. Anna dragged a limping gunner behind a boulder. Stay with me, Dave. Shuttle's almost here. She pressed a stim patch to his neck. His eyes cleared. Tell my wife I finally used that stupid gym membership. He gasped. Anna laughed through the dust. You're buying the first round when we're home. High above, engines roared, human engines. Shuttles screamed down through the atmosphere, retro thrusters blazing. The cavalry. Jack hooped so loud his voice cracked. That's our ride. The cave erupted in motion. Wounded were lifted, gear abandoned. Ben grabbed his jury-rigged device like a trophy. Souvenir, he said, tucking it under his arm. They spilled out into the night, boots pounding toward the landing zone. Alien fire chased them, wild and inaccurate. A shuttle's ramp dropped like a drawbridge. Hands reached out, hauling them aboard. Tom was last, half carried by Jack. As the ramp closed, he looked back at the cave, now just a dark scar in the cliff. Not bad for a junk pile in 20 minutes. The shuttle lifted, engines thundering. Below, Federation ships scrambled, too late. Ben leaned against a bulkhead, glasses fogged, grinning like a kid who'd pulled the best prank ever. Anna checked pulses, patched burns, kept everyone breathing. Jack stood at the viewport, watching Vega Prime shrink beneath them. Humanity had been counted out. They answered with spare parts, duct tape, and a song the aliens taught them, played back louder. The shuttle docked with the Odyssey, airlocks hissing open to cheers and hot coffee. Ben set his little device on the mess table. Someone stuck a label on it, Cooper's Can Opener. Jack raised a mug. To the nerds who build miracles out of trash. Ben blushed, but he drank. Outside the viewport, Earth's reinforcements formed up, sleek, angry, and very much on time. The fight wasn't over, but the message was clear. Mess with humans and we'll turn your own tools against you. The Odyssey's bridge smelled of burnt wiring and stale coffee. Jack Thompson stood with his boots planted wide, staring at the main screen. Vega Prime filled half the view, a bruised ball of dust and fire. Federation cruisers swarmed like hornets, their blue beams stitching scars across the planet's crust. Human shuttles darted between them, small and scrappy, buying seconds with smoke and prayer. A new blip flashed on the tactical display, fast, angular, painted in colors the Federation didn't use. It slipped through the chaos like a knife through cloth and hailed them on an open channel. The voice that came through was low, almost human, but with a click at the end of every word. Earth vessel. This is Commander Vex of the Free Veil. We share an enemy. May we speak? Jack glanced at Lisa Grant. She shrugged, fingers hovering over the weapons console. Their encryption's clean. Not Federation. Jack nodded. Patch it to the ready room. Kate's on deck. Kate Miller had been pacing the small diplomatic cabin, boots silent on the carpet. She wore the same gray jumpsuit as everyone else, but hers had the tiny Earth UN patch on the sleeve. Her hair was pulled back tight, eyes sharp from too many late-night strategy sessions. When the call came, she didn't flinch. She just grabbed her tablet and walked. The hologram flickered to life. Vex stood taller than any human, skin like brushed steel, forearms folded calm across its chest. Behind it, the bridge of the Veil ship hummed with quiet efficiency. Kate kept her voice level. You picked a hell of a time to say hello. We have watched your fight, Vex said. The Federation labels you vermin. We label them tyrants. Today the labels align. Pause. We offer alliance. Temporary. Mutual survival. Kate leaned forward. Define temporary. Until the Federation fleet burns or runs. After that, we part ways, no claims, no debts. Jack's voice cut in over the comm. Kate, they've got numbers. We're down to 3 shuttles and a prayer. Kate didn't look away from Vex. Show me what you bring to the table. The hologram shifted. Schematics bloomed, sleek interceptors, plasma lances, shield harmonics humans had never cracked. Vex tapped one. Your pulse weapon exposed a flaw. We can widen it. But we need your pilots inside our formation. Close. Trust. Kate exhaled through her teeth. Trust. The word tasted like rust. But she'd read the reports. The Free Veil had been raiding Federation supply lines for years. Outcasts. Rebels. Just like humans in a way. She tapped her tablet, pulling up the casualty list. Names scrolled. She stopped it on one. Dave, the gunner who joked about gym memberships. Still in medbay, fighting for every breath. Fine, she said. But we set the rules. No boarding actions on our ships. No data grabs. We fight together, we leave together. Vex inclined its head. Agreed. The alliance formed in frantic bursts. Tom Harris climbed back into his battered fighter, ribs screaming, and took a slot on a Veil wing. Never thought I'd have a 4-armed co-pilot, he muttered. The alien pilot clicked something that might have been laughter. On the Odyssey, Lisa synced human targeting software with Veil sensors. Screens lit up with new data streams, enemy weak points glowing red. It's like Christmas, she said, cracking her knuckles. Kate stayed on the bridge, relaying between Jack and Vex. Every order had to pass through her. She felt the weight of it but didn't let it show. When a Federation cruiser locked weapons on the Odyssey, she didn't hesitate. Veil Wing 3, roll left, draw fire. Tom, go low, hit the dorsal turret. The aliens obeyed without question. Tom hooped as his slugs punched through exposed plating. Down on Vega Prime, Anna Reed watched the sky change. Human and Veil ships wove together like thread in a loom. Blue Federation beams met green Veil lances, canceling each other out in bursts of white. She loaded another wounded pilot onto a stretcher. Keep it up, Sky Dancers, she whispered. Mama's running out of bandages. The turning point came fast. Ben Cooper, patched into the Veil network from the engine room, spotted a pattern. Their flagship cycles shield power every 45 seconds. Tiny gap. We hit it together. He sent the timing to every pilot, human and alien. Kate relayed the go. All ships on my mark. 3, 2, 1, now. The combined fleet struck as one. Human kinetic rounds slammed first, staggering the shields. Veil plasma followed, punching clean through. The Federation flagship listed, engines flaring out in orange fire. Secondary explosions rippled along its spine. Cheers erupted across every channel. Tom's voice cut through, hoarse but grinning. That's for Dave. Vex appeared on the main screen again, steel face unreadable. The head is severed. The body will follow. It paused. Your species fights with spirit. We will remember. Kate allowed herself a small smile. We'll remember you didn't leave us to die. That counts. The battle wasn't over, stragglers still fought, debris rained on Vega Prime, but the tide had turned hard. Human shuttles landed to pick up ground teams. Anna hugged each dusty survivor as they climbed aboard, checking wounds, passing water. You're buying the first round when we hit orbit, she told a grinning tech. Jack met Kate at the airlock as the last shuttle docked. Nice work, diplomat. She shrugged, exhaustion creeping in. Just reminded them we're stubborn. Turns out stubborn's universal. Tom limped past, helmet under his arm. Next time I pick the allies. 4 arms means twice the high fives. Lisa slapped a Veil engineer on the back, gently, mindful of the height difference. Your shield math's solid. Coffee later? The alien clicked twice. Agreement. As the Odyssey pulled away from Vega Prime, the Veil ships formed up alongside, silent escorts. No banners, no ceremonies. Just 2 fleets that had looked death in the eye and blinked together. Kate stood at the viewport watching the planet shrink. Humanity had come to claim a rock. They left with something bigger. Proof that resilience could forge bonds across stars. Jack raised a mug of recycled coffee. To unlikely friends. Kate clinked her water bottle against it. And to going home in one piece. Behind them, the crew settled into tired, relieved chatter. Stories were already forming. How the nerds, the pilots, the medic, and the diplomat turned scrap and grit into victory. The Federation would regroup. They always did. But for now the stars looked a little less lonely. The dust on Vega Prime finally settled, red and fine like cinnamon, coating every boot print and hull plate. The last Federation cruiser limped away, trailing sparks and silence. Jack Thompson stood on the ridge above the new outpost, wind tugging at his jacket. Below him, prefab domes gleamed under the purple sunrise, solar panels unfolding like lazy flowers. A banner snapped in the breeze, simple blue and white, the old Earth flag, nothing fancy. It looked small against the alien sky, but it was theirs. He keyed the open channel. All teams report. Voices rolled in, tired but alive. Perimeter secure, Captain. No hostiles within 50 clicks. That was Tom Harris, leaning against a crate, helmet dangling from one hand. His fighter sat nearby, patched with Veil alloy and human duct tape, ugly as sin and twice as proud. Medbay's full but stable, Anna Reed answered. Got 20 walking wounded and one guy who swears he's buying the first beer on Earth. I'm holding him to it. Lisa Grant's laugh crackled through. Power grids online. Ben's little feedback toy is now the official radio tower. He's naming it, Can Opener 2. Jack smiled despite himself. The ridge under his boots was solid rock, warm from the rising sun. He could feel the planet's heartbeat, slow, steady, no longer trying to kill them. They'd earned it the hard way. Down in the main square, the crew gathered. Someone had dragged out a folding table and a crate of ration packs. Real food would come later, hydroponics were already sprouting in the domes, but for now they passed around warm soda and protein bars like it was a holiday. Kate Miller stood on a crate, tablet in hand, reading the day's log aloud. Day 1 Vega Prime Colony. Population, 112 humans, 3 Veil observers, and 1 stubborn goat we found in a cargo hold. Laughter rippled. The goat bleated on cue. Ben Cooper knelt by the radio tower, tweaking a dial. The Veil engineers, tall, quiet, 4 arms moving in perfect sync, watched him work. One of them clicked something that sounded like approval. Ben offered a fist. The alien bumped it gently with a knuckle. Language barrier, sure, but respect didn't need words. Tom climbed the ridge to join Jack, boots crunching gravel. Remember when they called us primitive? He handed Jack a dented canteen. Tastes like victory. Jack took a swig, water, flat and metallic, best thing he'd ever drunk. They thought tech was everything. Forgot the part where we don't quit. Below, Anna led a cheer as the first shuttle from the Odyssey touched down, ramp dropping with a hiss. Fresh supplies rolled out, seeds, tools, a crate marked coffee, handle with love. Crew swarmed it like kids at a piñata. Lisa jogged over, face smeared with grease. Captain, the veil left us a gift. She pointed to a sleek pod nestled among the crates. Inside, a data crystal glowing soft green. Star maps. Clean routes past Federation space. Said we earned them. Jack turned the crystal in his fingers. It caught the light, throwing tiny rainbows across the dust. They could have kept these. Chose not to. Guess stubborn's contagious, Lisa said. Kate joined them, boots kicking up puffs of red. Ewan's already drafting the claim. Vega Prime is official Earth territory. First colony off the Sol grid. She paused, softer. Also got a message from the Veil. Short. Fight well. Travel far. That's it. Jack looked up. The sky was clear now, stars sharp against the fading night. Somewhere out there, more worlds waited, some friendly, some not. Didn't matter. They'd face them the same way, with patched gear, bad jokes, and the kind of grit that turns scrap into miracles. He raised his voice so the whole outpost could hear. Listen up. We came here with one ship and a prayer. We leave with a home. Every scar, every patch, every stupid idea that worked, that's us. Humanity. We don't need to be the biggest or the shiniest. We just need to keep showing up. Cheers rolled across the ridge, echoing off the domes. Someone started a chant. Simple, rough, perfect. Humans. Humans. The goat bleated along. Tom slung an arm around Jack's shoulders. Think they'll tell stories about this back on Earth? They'll tell stories everywhere, Jack said. And we'll keep writing new ones. Anna fired a flare into the sky, red, bright, defiant. It hung there, a tiny sun, before drifting down in lazy sparks. The crew watched it fall, faces glowing. No speeches left to give. Just the quiet knowledge that they'd done the impossible together. Later, Jack walked the perimeter alone. The wind carried voices, laughter, a guitar someone had smuggled aboard, the clink of mugs. He stopped at the flagpole, ran a hand over the rope. The banner snapped again, steady and sure. He thought of the cave, the jury-rigged radio, the four-armed allies who'd trusted strangers. Thought of Dave and Medbay already planning that beer. Thought of every name on the roster, living or patched up. Vega Prime wasn't paradise. The soil was thin, the storms brutal, the nights cold enough to bite. But it was theirs. A foothold. A promise. Jack looked to the stars. They didn't look cold anymore. They looked like doors. He smiled, small and real. See you soon, he told them. Behind him, the outpost lights flickered on, one by one, warm and golden. Humanity's first off-world hearth. The fire was lit. Time to see how far it could spread.